Welcome back, tech friends. My name's Gareth. This is Tech Check. This is Regan, and this is his next gaming PC. RTX 3090, B550 motherboard, 5800X3D, 2.5 terabytes of Gen 4 storage, and 32 gigs worth of RAM. We've got an extra 5 P12 Arctic fans. We're going to cool this CPU with this liquid freezer too. We're going to install it all into the H5 Flow and add a bit of pizzazz with these cable extensions. Let's do this. So if you watched any of the videos before, guys, we remove everything off the desk. We only have in front of us what we actually need. Have you ever built a gaming PC before?
Yeah, once or twice before. Nothing
okay,
major,
nothing major.
No.
So first thing we do is we take out the motherboard, put it on top of the actual box, take out the anti-static bag, and then we'll crack on from there.
Cool.
I've got a Stanley blade. Just be careful, no claims, yeah? No, you're not going to break anything. Now, while we're in here, let's just have a quick look at what we get in this B550. We've got a couple of SATA cables here. We've got an RGB extension. We'll take those out because we'll probably need those. And we also need our M.2 screws as well. It's got a couple of hints of what look to be pink.
Yeah, I'm all good with pink.
So we've got two M.2 slots, which is here. Our 4 RAM slots, which are there. CPU, which is here. And then we've got plenty of headers on there as well. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned, guys, is how many RGB fans are going in here?
Absolutely none.
None at all.
No.
Yeah, so that's the one big thing here, guys. No RGB whatsoever. So what we'll do first is we'll move on to the CPU and we'll get that installed, yeah? Yeah. Once we cut this, there's no going back. So
I'm so ready.
Are you so ready?
Yeah, man, I'm absolutely buzzing.
So Ryzen 7 5800X3D.
Yeah.
Absolute monster of a CPU. This is something that you really wanted as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, there's a big difference between the 5800X, which is this one here, and then this one here, which is the 3D version. Yeah. For me, this one is absolutely fantastic. This one you can get for about 250. This one's about 350. So still 8 cores, 16 threads, but much better performance with this one, especially in gaming, which primarily this is going to be for. Yeah. So this is the bit where you've got to be really careful. Yeah. So we undo the socket by the retention arm. You can open your CPU case. Just be very careful.
Not to pop it out.
That's it. And then we grab it off the side. That's it. Now there should be a triangle on one of the corners, yeah?
Yeah, this little one here.
Yeah, and then we want to line that up with this triangle, which is just up here as well. Perfect. Lower it down. Easy peasy. That's the bit that most people are scared of, though.
Yeah, especially on like an AMD chipset, right? Because the pins are on the actual
CPU.
Itself, yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll move on to the RAM, and this is the Renegade Fury from Kingston. 3600 megatransfers a second, 32 gigs. Because we've only got 2 sticks of RAM, and we've got 4 DIMM slots, which ones do they go in?
Start on the furthest, leave a gap, and then the next one.
You've been watching too many of my videos.
I have watched too many.
So only the top ones open. Is that the right way?
No, got to match this build.
That's it, yeah. It will be a little bit stiff first time.
Yeah, it's because it's brand new, isn't it?
Yeah. Those ones don't fold down this side.
I'm used to like too many crappy motherboards.
Yeah, it's all good. Take your time. There we go. Now even pressure on both sides. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Sorry, mate.
So no, not at all. This is the beauty about building PCs, yeah? So we'll line them both up. Yeah. This one's a little bit stiff this side, even pressure.
Right, there we go.
So you try with that second one in.
This way.
That's it. Just a bit stiff. There we are.
There we go.
No clickers, but looks pretty nice. Yeah. So now within the space of a couple of minutes, we've got our CPU and our RAM all installed. Yeah. What we'll do now is we'll move on to our storage drives. We've got this one, which is the P5 Plus from Crucial, and then we've got this KC3000. This is a 2 terabyte one. This is a 500 gig one. So what we'll do is we'll put the P5 on the top drive, and then we'll put the 2 terabyte one on the bottom one, because this is going to be our operating system, and this is going to be your mass storage drive. Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to open up our operating system drive. So this is the P5. This one's not as quick as the KC3000, but it's within a knacker. Yeah. Right. So Crucial P5 M.2. It's about 6,600 megatransfers or megabytes per second. So it's still a Gen 4 drive. Really, really, really quick. We need to remove the heatsink off of the top one. So these 2 screws here. Right, so that should come off now.
Yeah. Do they come out?
No, they shouldn't pop out.
Okay, cool.
Not fully unscrewed, that one. Bang on. Now, have you seen on the back of this one, there's a bit of film. Yeah, so when we put that in, we'll obviously take that off. So have you put one of these in before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Little bit higher. There it is.
Oh, it is right at the top. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Now we've got it all lined up there perfectly. Yep. What we can do is take one of these screws that we take in our motherboard box, and we can screw it down.
It's not break anything. Absolutely petrified of breaking something.
So then what we need to do is remove this film off of here. I'll let you do that because I've got no nails.
No, me either. This isn't very good, is it?
There we are. Right. So now we can put that back over our M.2 drive. Nice. And now you've done it once, you're a pro.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll do it again for the 2 terabyte one on the second one. Kind of tight, aren't they, to begin with?
Yeah.
Nice Kingston 2 terabyte, 7,000 megabits a second on this one as well. See, I can see here we're missing a standoff.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah.
So
that's why I'm struggling.
let's take that back out. Let's put this. Does it go in that one?
Yeah.
That one, won't it?
Yeah.
Like that. That seems perfect to me.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's get that one on.
There we go.
Bang on. Couple more minutes. CPU, RAM, and now you've got 2.5 terabytes of Gen 4 M.2s installed as well, which is absolutely fine. What we'll do is we'll just take a couple of these peels off of here, because it might be a bit of a nightmare to get them later on when we put them in. Yeah. So we're now at the stage where we can essentially put the motherboard into the case, or we can attach the 240mm cooler now. I always like to get the motherboard in the case because then you've got 2 hands to actually get the cooler in. So let's move the rubbish, get the case up here, and then we'll install that. Yeah. So this is NZXT's latest case, guys. This is the H5 Flow. Absolutely fantastic looking case. We've got this open front design, full PSU shroud, and darkened glass side panel as well, which I really like. It's got some filters on both the front, or the top and the bottom for the PSU. And yeah, just looks really, really nice. Let's get our motherboard installed into the case and we can take a closer look at the insides. So to take these off, guys, just 2 captive thumb screws for the back. There we are, there's number 1. And then at the back down here, we've got our trusty box of goodies. And in here, we'll find all the screws required. Good difference here is NZXT's included Velcro straps in this center panel, so we can route all our actual cables all down there. In terms of I/O, what have we got? We have got HD audio, we've got USB 3, we've got front panel connectors. Oh, that's quite good. It all comes with one connection. So power switch, reset switch and stuff like that, which is pretty neat. Oh, it's the included fan, which comes at the front. So, and then we've also got, oh, it's an NZXT for RGB. So if you want to wire everything together, you can do that as well. So, but what I find really interesting is this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, the only downside to having that there is,
space.
Yeah. And if you had, let's say you wanted to have a 4090 in here, Can you imagine having a 1200 watt or a 1500 watt power supply in there?
You're going to struggle, are you?
Exactly, yeah. So other than that though, I think having these here, big open cutout here, looks pretty nice. But we need to take these two fans out because they're no good for us. We don't want mix and matching fans. You could do, but we don't really want it. You could put a hard drive here and an SSD here, or you could have two SSDs. It's pretty nice. And then we've got plenty of cable routing there. Yeah. Nice feet on the bottom, not going to scratch anything up. And you've also got a filter for...
There's two, I believe.
There is. One's for the intake fan, which is here. Exactly. So yeah, I think it's nice overall then. The only thing is also is, let's imagine, I don't like the fact that you've only got a USB 3 and a USB type C on the front, but I like to have all my stuff coming out the back anyway.
Yeah, me too, because I don't like stuff like sticking out the top. It looks shit.
You're a bit of a cable snob, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This feels really nice. Good finish on the front, open, loads of intake, and the good thing about obviously the front of here, you can put 120s or 140s, which is pretty nice, but essentially that's quite good. And like I said, inside there, that new design of bringing obviously fresh air for the graphics card, you'll have to let me know how that performs.
Absolutely, yeah.
In here, we've also got all of our standoffs that are required. This used to be a pain in the backside, this bar. Do you know, if you had bulky loads of cables coming through, bending them round and stuff like that, especially if you had strimmer cables, RGB, you want that nice.
Yeah.
Exactly. But other than that, looks really, really clean, really, really nice and tidy. Obviously, if you want to put a 240 or 280mm cooler at the front, you can just undo these thumb screws and you could have them mounted there.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see what our clearance is going to be. Can you see the offset? So we're going to have no problems with the VRMs or the RAM either. So we should be able to put our cooler at the top as an exhaust, and then our fans at the front for intake, as well as our exhaust fan at the back here. So I think what we'll do is we'll get this fan out here, because we don't want this fan here. We've got 5P12s from Arctic, and we'll get them installed first, So in order to get to this shroud down here, we need to undo this. This comes out like so. And then we just undo these two screws here. It's a bit awkward though, but there we go.
Oh, easy there.
Have a look at that fan compared to that. So the fan...
It's completely different, isn't it?
The blade design is different, whereas these ones are more spirals. There's obviously more blades on this one than there is on this one as well. But me personally, this one's heavier than this one. And I just think that it's going to perform a little bit better, that's all. There we go. What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll lower this back into position. Obviously, we know that this lip comes over this side here. So that can go into there and push through. Right. Like that. And then we should just push that in like that. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, not too bad.
And then we should have just two more screws, which I'll let you do, which are here. And you know where they go?
These two bits.
Them two there, What we need to do now is get this back fan out. So 4 screws in the back of there.
So have you never done a build with anyone else then?
Nope, first time.
Really?
I've had plenty.
I hope I don't ruin it.
No, not at all, not at all. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about engaging with community. It's about teaching other people. And hopefully, next time, you'll be like, oh, I don't need anyone else to do it with me. I can just do it myself. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So this one's a little bit tight because it's got a cable here. But I'll push that through for you. There you go. We can get this one in. So this one is set as exhaust.
Exhaust,
yeah.
I was trying to think of the word.
No worries. So cable coming off of this side,
Just chuck through there, can't it?
Yeah. I really like the fact that this nice large cutout up here, because essentially you've got plenty of room. The worst thing in the world, do you know how many times you've put all your radiators in and then you can't get the bloody EPS power cables through, or you've got to fish your cables through your AIO back through and you've got no room, snagging all over the top and potentially cutting them. So yeah, I really like that, especially this little extra Velcro grip here as well, which is good.
You'll be able to feed everything through.
Exactly, yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll get this motherboard nicely installed. So gently does it onto your 9 standoffs, and then we can line it up at the I/O shield at the back. That's it, perfect. And then just make sure it's all lined up. You've got this little fan here.
It's in the way, isn't it?
It's all right. So we'll just push that cable out the way. That's it.
Yeah.
Bang on. Now I tend to do the easiest ones first,
So-
which is the outer ones, yeah?
Cool.
And it helps massively when you've got a magnetic screwdriver, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, very important here
Yep.
that you don't over tighten them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need our liquid freezer 2. Now this is supposed to be an absolute beast.
Cooler of the year.
Cooler of the year 2021. So essentially in Intel 1200, 1700 or AM4, we've obviously got AMD, so it's AM4. It comes with some MX5 paste all included as well. So let's get it out and let's actually have a look at what it comes like. So if we're not mistaken, all our hardware are in there.
Cool.
We've got our pump, which is here. And the great thing about it, look,
What you doing it for us?
they've already done it for us, and we've got the same fans here.
Yeah.
Nice little cover on the bottom here. And look how nice this is. Just one cable.
Mint, isn't it? Yeah.
One
No
cable.
RGB, so no cables.
Can you see the thickness of that radiator? That's a thick boy. Can you remember what I said to you previously about putting our 8-pin EPS cable in?
Yes.
So I think the smartest thing here, if you have got a radiator at the top, get out your 8-pin CPU power cable and connect that first, because you don't want to install all this and then realise, oh, I've got to take the radiator out again, yeah? Make sure you do your due diligence and look at the width that's required from the top of your case to either your RAM or your VRMs and heat sinks and things like that, because it is a lot thicker than standard all-in-one radiators. So this is the RM850, again, brand spanking new. And a lot of people will be like, you need 1,000 watts for an RTX 3090. So when we're installing these 8 pins, obviously we've got an 8-pin and a 4-pin, yeah? You need to be mindful that on one side says CPU and on the other side it doesn't say anything. So this side that says CPU goes where?
In the motherboard?
Correct.
And the other side goes in your power supply.
Absolutely bang on. So we'll put this one in now. Can you imagine trying to do this when
With
you've got...
Yeah, you've got nowhere, you've have you?
Yeah, it's absolute horrendous. Do you know what I mean? So I like to just stand it up and then we can push these all the way through to the back. Have you ever installed one of these 240s?
No.
No, exactly. First time for everything, yeah? So what we've done straight away is we've just removed our old AM4 mounting bracket by the 2 screws. We've then took this new mounting bracket and placed it on top. We've utilised 2 spacers for 3000, 5000 and 7000 Ryzen chips so that it's got adequate clamping, okay? So all we've got to do is take off, I'll let you do this bit, so we can undo these 2 screws here. And normally the reason why I've done the other side already is so the back plate don't fall through.
Yeah.
It's much easier to do one and then do the other, because then if not, you've got to have your hand at the back holding
sure
the
you
back.
don't,
Yeah, exactly. There we go. So then we need to take that back plate there and those 2 standoffs.
So these just sit on the icing.
That's it. And then that sits on top. And then we take those. What's important is we use these top screws. That's it.
All in.
Right, sound. So what we can do then is essentially this is just going to sit on top of here with the offset. We need to remove this before we attach it, which we'll do in a minute. And then we take the 4 thumb screws, which are in here. And once we've got it sat on, we can tighten it down. And I think one of the smart things we can do here is we'll get our 240 locked into position at the top. That's going to sit really nicely there. And because we've already installed our 8-pin and 4-pin EPS, we've not got to worry about getting in there either.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But it's a big boy.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So what we'll do now is we'll utilise the screws, yeah, to lock this in position.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always go one of the corners first, and we're not screwing it all the way in, so we've got a little bit of it can flexibility and move it around a little bit, yeah?
Cool.
That's it. What we want to do now before we attach this and you have less room to even play, yeah, is we want to go ahead and attach that. But before we do that, I can put this cable onto our CPU fan header, okay, which is right back here, yeah, and it's the top one. So now we've got our brackets on. What we can do is just slightly move our cable out the way. We should see that this sits on these 4 outer posts like that. And then what we do is we'll lock it in position with that. But we've got 2 things that we need to do beforehand. Yep. One is peel off the plastic on the bottom of the CPU copper plate. Yep. And the second of all, it's thermal paste. Thermal paste. Good man. Oh, come on. Nice one. We'll want to be careful with this now because we don't want any scratches or gouges in it or anything like that. And then we want a pea-sized shape of MX5 in the middle of that CPU. Now, it's always better to put a little bit more than a little bit less. Okay. That'll do. We'll lower this into position. We can line everything up, make sure it stays on. And then what we want to do is put each thumb screw on each side. Now, I always find it easier if you put that in there. It's quite a strong magnet in there. Now, getting your hands in there is quite difficult. Okay. Now, what we want to do is put one on one corner and then we do the opposite corner. Sure. Don't tighten this one down. We just want to get them on, yeah? We can literally just slide that in. Push the cables through those 2 ones, those grommets first. Yeah, two thumb screws, yeah, line them up and then just tighten them up. There we have it, guys. Our 2 120mm fans nicely installed at the front. And then we've got everything else installed in here. We've got some cable extensions, power supply and graphics card. What do you want to do next?
What would you do next?
Power supply.
Then that. What would you do that next?
So, talking about PSU, this is the RM850 gold modular power supply. Do we know what cables we need out of here?
24 pin.
24 pin, absolutely. So we've got our 24 pin, which is here. We're going to need how many for the 3090? 2 of them.
Yeah, 2.
So PCIe, we need 1 of them. Do we need any of them?
No, because we've got no hard drives or SSDs.
Fantastic. What about those?
No, same thing.
SATA, Molex.
Oh, yeah, these are well old.
Exactly. Another PCIe, which is there. And again, guys, buy a reputable PSU. You spent so much money on all your hardware. Last thing you want to do, if this goes, everything else goes, absolutely. And not only that, you've got plenty of expandability. Another one for CPU, which is there. And essentially loads of SATA connections and Molex connections, Yep. We've got our cable extensions, which are here. Now, what I would advise is we need to kind of put the clips on beforehand, But what I would say is, again, power supply. You've got this 2 connections here, which go into our actual PSU, and then this one goes into our motherboard. So in order to connect this, we just need to line it up like that, and then push him in. Make sure it's a tight connection. This is going to our motherboard, and this is going into our PSU. Cool. Do you know which ones these go into? Yeah, absolutely bang on. I always love watching people do it like this.
Why? Is there a way to do it?
No, you've done it bang on.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And did you hear nice clicks? Yeah. Absolutely bang on. So PCIe ones, so that's going into there. Nice little click, make sure that they're in, Nice. And then the other side goes into our power supply. So anywhere where it says PCIe, absolutely. Absolutely. And then we need that one into
the other PCIe.
Which way do we put the power supply in?
You want the fan on the bottom of your case.
Absolutely.
Unless it's on carpet.
Unless it's on carpet. And even then I'd still have the fan facing down. Or if you had like a Leon Lee XL case or dynamic and you had it facing like this at the back, But essentially what we can do is just lower this into position. Like that, and then all we've got to do is tighten those 4 screws into the back. Cool. What we're looking to do now is push all the cables through to the front of the case. Cool. We'll make all the connections, and then essentially the last thing, graphics card. We just need to be a little bit careful here, but essentially what we need to do is bend this 24 pin around like this, and then we need to plug it into our 24 pin, which is there. But before we do that, now that we know that it's going to be bending this way, let's put our cable combs on. I'll put your HD audio, and that's this bottom header down here. With our front panel connectors, top right hand corner is a blank. And the reason for that is because this goes up with the front panel facing forwards as well, because next to the power switch there's a blank as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's your JFP1 connections down here. So yes, that is much, much better now. So now we can bend that round and clip it into our 24 pin. Really important that we get a firm connection on this one though, yeah?
Yeah.
Did it click?
No.
It did then.
It did, yeah.
HD audio, front panel connectors, no SATA. We'll connect the PWMs slightly later. This is the most trickiest cable you'll connect, okay? So this one goes here, which is USB 3.
Yeah.
Now, can you see this notch?
Yeah. Does that go in this little
That
gap?
goes there. Now, you have to line this up perfectly.
Okay.
If it's not lined up perfectly, don't push it in because you'll bend the pins.
Okay.
All right? So just take your time, line it up. Oh, he's nervous now.
Because you told me I could break something. I think that's it.
Push.
There we go.
Boom. Well done. So this is the only part in the build that we've not bought brand new, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. And primarily because of budget.
Yeah.
Obviously these were around 1,500 quid. They're up to 2,000 whatever here in the UK. We managed to get this for an absolute bargain. Yeah. Second hand with the RTX 40 series being released, a lot of 3090 premium card holders have now obviously wanted to sell their cards off, and obviously Regan was a lucky member to get hold of one of these. Otherwise we would have had something like a 3070 Ti, 3080 or something like that. So let's have a look at the crown jewels in all their glory. Yeah. So first thing what we need to do is we need to take out our PCIe brackets, which are at the back here. Right. You felt the weight of that?
Yeah, it's really heavy.
I know you couldn't keep your hands off it, could you?
No.
It's a big boy. So whenever we're putting these into place, now we've just got to be mindful that obviously we've got these all-in-one tubes.
Yeah.
So if you could do me a favour and just hold them gently, we hold it up like this. And as you can see, even this 3090, plenty of space. We open up our PCIe slot. We offer up our graphics card, and we did need 3 outlet. Yeah.
Look at that.
And effectively, we just need a slight push.
Okay.
I'll let you put it in for the first time. So push there.
And then it goes.
And then it goes. You can let go of them now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to secure it back in place using them screws.
Yeah.
What we want to do is eliminate as much sag as we can. So if you can do me a favour and just press up on this end for me. There we are. What that's going to do is it's just going to hold it up in position.
Cool.
We need our splitter cable. Okay. So then we can push this into here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tighten down our cooler. Yeah, we can figure out exactly where we want that. We'll push our PCIe cables through here. We'll connect them up to here. Yeah. And then we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes where we'll run a test boot and hopefully get his reaction to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've reached that pivotal part, guys, where we flick the power switch. We'll let the owner of the PC press the button for the first time. I'm glad to see this fan spinning. Is there any lights? Yes, we've got lights. Front 2 fans are spinning, these ones are spinning, and that one down there is spinning. There's a lot of air going through there as well. Oh, we've hit the BIOS. Oh, we've hit the splash screen, and then we're here. F1. Come on, BIOS. Woohoo! There we are, guys. So, first time boot. It said that we needed to enter the BIOS F1 because there's a new CPU installed. And very, very pleased to see this Asus BIOS, which means everything has been built just as it should do. Happy?
Very, 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 very happy.
What's your thoughts on this mega little beast?
It's beautiful, and it's going to be incredible to run. So very, very
happy.
Extremely happy.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words how happy I am.
Good. So RTX 3090, we've gone full blackout. Yeah. So not any RGB in sight. I know there's a little bit on the motherboard and a little bit on the graphics card, but we can turn them off if we don't want them. But once we get that blacked out side panel on,
you're gonna see it.
Exactly that. So what's the next steps here, guys? Very straightforward. We're not going to assemble DOCP here. We're not going to attach any internet cables. We're going to download and install the Windows. We're going Windows 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, Windows 10 Pro. We're going to do that. We're going to update all the drivers, get everything that we require updated. We'll then attach the internet, do all the updates, and then apply the DOCP once we've got everything installed. So I think what we'll do, we'll get that done now. Yeah. I know it's getting a little bit late now, but I just want to say a massive thank you to you for allowing me to build this.
Thank you.
We'll get a few glamour shots and show the guys out here because this is absolutely stunning, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Anything from you?
Just thank you. It looks beautiful and I'm really excited.
You're more than welcome. And hopefully you'll have to show me how to play some of these fast FPS games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, I wish you have a lovely weekend. Take care. All the best.